The Broken Promise: Why Hard Work Isn't Enough for Black Women in America. Thank you all for being here today. I'm deeply honored to share with you the transformative insights from my recent conversation with Dr. Cynthia Williams, a visionary researcher whose unflinching dedication to workplace equity has fundamentally reshaped how we understand professional advancement in America. Dr. Williams isn't merely collecting data, she's illuminating hidden truths that challenge our most cherished national myths. Her courage in speaking truth to power has created ripples of change across corporate boardrooms nationwide, giving voice to those who have been systematically silenced despite their excellence. I want to begin by asking you a question that might feel uncomfortable, a question that challenges the very foundation of what many of us believe about America. We've all heard it, haven't we? Work hard, stay focused, persevere, success will follow. It's the cornerstone of the American dream. It's what our parents told us, what our teachers reinforced, what our culture celebrates in countless rags to riches stories. But what if I told you that for millions of Americans, this formula is fundamentally, systematically broken? Not just occasionally, not just in isolated incidents, but broken by design. This is what Dr. Williams revealed during our conversation, and it's a truth that demands not just our attention, but our action. Despite Black women having higher labor force participation rates than most other demographic groups in America, these increased efforts have not translated into greater job security or pay equity. Let that sink in for a moment. More work, less reward. In fact, Dr. Williams shared a statistic that should shake us to our core. Even as our country added jobs overall in April 2025, Black women experienced the steepest job losses of any demographic, losing over 100,000 jobs and seeing their unemployment rate rise to 6.1%. This happened while the economy was growing, while opportunities were expanding for others. This isn't just an unfortunate coincidence, it's a pattern, a system, a reality that fundamentally challenges the narrative that hard work and perseverance alone determine professional advancement. During my conversation with Dr. Williams, three key insights emerged that I believe we must grapple with honestly. First, hard work does not always translate into equal opportunity. Despite high participation rates and qualifications, Black women still face significant barriers to advancement and economic security due to systemic bias. Second, representation at the top is improving but remains alarmingly low. Only two Black women currently serve as CEOs among Fortune 500 companies, a stark reminder of persistent gaps in leadership representation, even as overall numbers improve. And third, the rollback of DEI initiatives has real consequences. Recent corporate decisions to scale back diversity programs have disproportionately harmed Black professionals, eroding gains made since 2020 and threatening future progress. These aren't just abstract concepts or distant statistics. They represent real lives, real careers, real dreams deferred or denied. Consider the journey of the Sunda Brown Duckett from modest beginnings to becoming CEO of TIA, the Teachers Insurance and Annuity Association. Her story illuminates both what's possible and what's painfully rare in corporate America. Raised by working class parents who emphasized education as the path forward, Duckett navigated environments where few looked like her or shared her background. Throughout her career, she often found herself the only one in the room, the only Black person, the only woman, the only one from her socioeconomic background. But Duckett didn't just endure these challenges. She developed strategies to transform them. She built mentorship networks. She advocated for inclusive talent pipelines within organizations she led. She created pathways for others while climbing herself. Her persistence culminated in becoming one of only two Black female CEOs on the Fortune 500 list in 2025, two out of 500. That's 0.4%. In a country where Black women make up approximately 7% of the population, this achievement is simultaneously historic and heartbreaking, a testament to Duckett's extraordinary capabilities and a damning indictment of a system where such achievements remain exceptional rather than expected. As the first African American woman named CEO at TIAA, Duckett championed financial literacy initiatives targeting underserved communities, understanding that economic knowledge is power. Her leadership highlights both progress made possible by intentional inclusion efforts and how rare such achievements remain without systemic change. But for every success story like Duckett's, countless others face setbacks that have nothing to do with their qualifications or work ethic. The April 2025 employment crisis that Dr. Williams documented revealed how precarious professional advancement remains for Black women. Over 100,000 jobs lost among Black women, the sharpest decline across all U.S. demographics, despite national employment gains. This wasn't random chance, it reflected structural vulnerabilities, overrepresentation in sectors vulnerable to economic shifts, underrepresentation in secure, high growth fields, lack of advancement opportunities that compound risk factors. When companies needed to make cuts, Black women disproportionately found themselves on the chopping block. Last hired, first fired, a pattern as old as integration itself. In response, community organizations mobilized rapid response training programs focused on digital skills and entrepreneurship tailored specifically for displaced workers. These grassroots interventions provided a lifeline for some affected individuals seeking new career paths. But the recovery remains slow due to structural issues like pay inequity. Black women earn just 69 cents per dollar paid to white men, a gap that compounds over a lifetime of work into hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost earnings. How do you build generational wealth? How do you create security? How do you recover from setbacks when the system consistently undervalues your labor? Many participants in these programs were long term employees suddenly sidelined by layoffs tied not just to market forces, but also weakening DEI commitments across industries. Their stories reveal how fragile progress can be without sustained commitment to equity. This brings us to another troubling trend Dr. Williams documented: Meta's dismantling of its DEI infrastructure following political pressure resulted in a measurable drop off in internal diversity, including notable setbacks for upwardly mobile Black professionals within tech spaces. Following George Floyd's murder in 2020, Meta invested heavily in DEI initiatives, but 5 years later began retreating amid shifting political winds. The company reversed post racial justice pledges under external scrutiny, and staff layoffs disproportionately affected employee resource group leaders who had driven prior inclusion gains. Some remaining employees formed informal advocacy coalitions, while others transitioned out, taking lessons learned into new ventures, prioritizing equity from inception. Meta's experience served as a cautionary tale industry wide about the fragility and necessity of sustained commitment. if meaningful change is desired. Short lived improvements gave way quickly when support waned. Yet alumni now lead conversations around sustainable models elsewhere, showing that even setbacks can fuel future progress if we refuse to accept regression as inevitable. What these stories reveal, as Dr. Williams eloquently articulated, is that we're witnessing not just individual struggles, but systemic patterns that require systemic solutions. The professional resilience required of Black women isn't just about working twice as hard, it's about maintaining dignity and self worth in environments that consistently undervalue both contributions and humanity. When systems demand superhuman effort without equitable reward, what does that do to a person, to their health, to their families, to their communities? For many high achieving Black women, this reality has led to a necessary recalibration, a shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. Learning to say no without guilt, dropping the superwoman cape, setting boundaries without apology. These aren't just personal preferences, they're essential survival skills in environments where the meritocracy myth continues to shape expectations without delivering on its promises. For many Black women professionals, softness isn't a luxury. It's a necessity for survival in space that demand everything while offering little in return. The journey from doing to being, from strong to soft, requires acknowledging these structural realities while refusing to be defined by them. It means recognizing that rest is not just recovery, but resistance in a system designed for extraction. So, where do we go from here? I believe we stand at a crossroads. We can continue to perpetuate the comforting myth that hard work alone determines success, a myth that blames individuals for structural failures. Or we can confront the uncomfortable truth that our systems were built with inherent advantages and disadvantages that no amount of individual effort can fully overcome. This isn't about abandoning the value of hard work. It's about demanding that hard work be fairly rewarded regardless of who performs it. It's about recognizing that when we say meritocracy, we must ensure that merit is truly what's being measured, not privilege, not connections, not conformity to dominant cultural norms. The data is clear, the stories are compelling, the pattern is undeniable. The question is, what will we do with this knowledge? Will we continue to tell ourselves comfortable lies about level playing fields and bootstraps? Or will we have the courage to build systems that actually deliver on the promise of equal opportunity? I challenge each of you today, whether you lead a team of 2 or 2,000, whether you're just starting your career or nearing retirement, to examine how these dynamics play out in your own sphere of influence. Ask yourself, who gets promoted in my organization and why? Whose ideas get implemented? Who gets second chances? Who gets the benefit of the doubt? Who has to be twice as good to get half as far? Then ask, what am I doing to change these patterns? Are you mentoring and sponsoring talent from underrepresented groups? Are you speaking up when you witness inequity? Are you examining your own biases and blind spots? Are you creating pathways where none existed before? This isn't about charity or lowering standards. It's about excellence, true excellence that can only emerge when all talent has the opportunity to flourish. Imagine what our companies, our communities, our country could achieve if we stopped wasting human potential. If we recognize that genius, creativity, and leadership come in all forms and created systems that nurture these qualities, wherever they appear. The myth of meritocracy persists because it's comforting. It tells us the world is fair. It absolves us of responsibility for changing systems we didn't create, but from which many of us benefit. But comfort never created change. Truth, however uncomfortable, is where transformation begins. Today, I invite you to embrace that discomfort, to question what you've been taught about success and failure, to see patterns where you once saw only individual circumstances, and then to act, to use whatever power you have, and we all have some, to create space where merit truly determines outcomes, where hard work actually pays off equally for everyone. Because a world like that isn't just more fair, it's more innovative, more productive, and more aligned with our highest values as a society. The question isn't whether we can build such a world. The question is whether we have the courage to try. Thank you